In October 2023, Geraldine and I enjoyed a 2-week holiday, a safari holiday in Botswana, during which time we had a 2-day excursion into Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. At the time, I made several videos of the safari aspects of the holiday, but what I overlooked was making a video about our excursion into Victoria Falls. Time to rectify that oversight. We spent 2 nights in Victoria Falls, where we stayed in the Botswana Lodge. This was very comfortable and had really a bit of a colonial feel about it. It had lovely surroundings, and we even saw a little bit of wildlife there, but also they looked after us extremely well, and the room we had was very comfortable. Of course, at the time that we were visiting the Victoria Falls, it was the end of the dry season, so perhaps they weren't as powerful as they might have been just a few months earlier. Nevertheless, it really was a phenomenal sight, and difficult to do justice through a few pictures. After our walk around the falls, it was time for a cool drink because it had been very hot. An opportunity for Bibi, our guide, to let his hair down. It was then time for a really excellent lunch under the watchful eyes of these young ladies who were looking down on us from their portraits over the bar. And I have to say, the food was excellent. It was a really enjoyable morning and lunch. After our visit to the falls themselves, that evening we went for a game drive in a private game reserve. Here we see a group of elephant. I confess that during this drive I took very little video and mainly concentrated on photographing still images. Here's a guinea fowl, in fact a couple of guinea fowl. And another look at the elephants that I showed a few minutes earlier in a video clip. They also breed rhino in this particular reserve. These are black rhino, and sadly, as you can see, the horns are cut off, which is basically to make them unattractive to poachers. It's a very sad reflection that it takes those sort of measures to protect the animals. In the centre of the reserve is a fairly large reservoir which feeds off down this stream there. And here we saw a number of birds. This is a pied kingfisher. And there, a greater kudu buck that had come down to drink. And then a grey heron, of course, which we are very familiar with in the UK. That flew in to land on one of the trees. And down at the stream side we see the red-billed black stork and a pair of hammercock. And then a little egret flew in. And landed to join the hammercocks. Out on the island in the reservoir we can just see some white little egret and a pair of hippo. And this is an open bill stork. Notice the gap in the bill. And then, as the sun set, we drove back to the centre of this little reserve where we had a very pleasant open air under the stars dinner. We were well looked after before going back to the Botonka Lodge. Well, that was it for our trip to Victoria Falls. I hope you enjoyed it.